Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 262.
262.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mousefan Travel. Their agents specialize in Disney, Universal, and cruising, but can book just about anything around the world. And upcoming events for, let's just say, in the Disney world include Toy Story Land on June 30th at Disney's Hollywood Studios, Pixar Fest at Disneyland, which starts kind of like next week. And also we have so much other stuff coming up, including the Incredible Summer starting May 25th here at Walt Disney World also.
And not too early to book the Epcot Food and Wine Festival.
Hard to believe that's almost just around the corner now.
So anyway, check them out, MEI Travel and Mousefan Travel. We're going to start off the show this week at the Magic Kingdom for Easter, the Easter Pre-Parade.
And we actually weren't here on Easter. We were here on Saturday. They did have the Easter Pre-Parade both Saturday and Sunday, twice each day. This is our 9th year of showing it and sharing it and
just really attending and enjoying it.
Yeah, it really is so much fun, and it has changed some through the years.
It's gotten better over the years.
It has. I mean, there are some things that are different. We had Chicken Little and Abby Mallard as part of one of the floats.
I remember that.
Back in the day, back in 2010, but only that year. And here you have Daisy Duck. This is a third costume that we have seen her in through the years. She actually ended up with a Azalea Trail Maid outfit. And we have Mr. and Mrs. Easter Bunny, who have always been part of this parade.
And speaking of the Azalea Trail Maids, there they are, always colorful, a beautiful addition to the parade every year.
Right, and they are 50 high school seniors from Mobile, Alabama. Mm-hmm. And so this is something special that they get to do every single year again for 4 times. It is raining a little bit at this point.
Sprinkling. It will start. It'll be a little bit more rainy, but they come with umbrellas. They are fully prepared, aren't they?
We were not fully prepared. It was, all day it was sort of like, okay, well, it might rain then, but then it was not going to rain. But as soon as the pre-parade started, it was like it started sprinkling out.
Well, this is why it's always good to wear a hat, because I was able to take off my hat with one hand and hold it over the video camera just enough time to fully record this pre-parade. So a little behind the scenes excitement there.
And this is, I think it's about 5 minutes long before Festival of Fantasy comes. Also, these butterflies and flowers, these performers have been here about 5 years now. They were new again, about 5 years ago. The parade has changed a little bit throughout the years. We had Nick and Judy also from Zootopia who were on the float for a couple of years.
Well, last year, the flowers were actually doing a little meet and greet on the green, the Magic Kingdom green. And I know the Azalea Trail Maids have met. I don't know if they met
this year
when we went because it was raining and we didn't stay around too long. And here, now they don't have Nick and Judy, but you have the White Rabbit and the bunnies. So that was a very nice, a nice change. They had their time, Nick and Judy.
Yes. They actually replaced White Rabbit and Rabbit. And here we also have chicken costumed performers who also have been here about 5 years. There was major changes back about 5 years ago, as I mentioned.
You know, what I just said, why not have them all be there? Nick and Judy and the White Rabbit, and also Roger Rabbit. Why am I not having full imagination?
I don't know.
You should have all the rabbits, I say.
Well, then you'd have to have I was going to say Chicken Little's not a rabbit, but Abby Mallard is not a rabbit either, so I don't know. They were on it. But anyway, here is Clara Cluck, and this is the end of the pre-parade. We were going to stay for Festival of Fantasy, but we did not stay. We went and looked at the wall.
Yes, the excitement
the
of
purple
the
wall, which keeps changing.
Well, the Festival of Fantasy kind of got rained out. I mean, they still had it, but it was lessened than usual. Now, this is actually the very next day. It is Easter Sunday. Much better weather. And here are Chippendale in their Easter finery.
We were not planning to spend all day with characters. It turned out almost that way. But we usually just go for a couple hours in the morning and see the
monorail loop, right?
Right, and so we saw them, but we ended up seeing like 13 characters on this day. I mean, Chippendale twice, that was 4. And somehow they went to the poly really quick. And
well, the reason is as you do this, you run into friends, and friends tell you, well, they hear a character is going to be here, and another one hears a character is going to be here. So that's kind of how it happens, just by word of mouth and friends. And it's a really nice day. I did not expect to be still looking at characters all day until almost 5 o'clock, but it was worth it. Now here we go, the White Rabbit at the Grand Floridian.
We did do other things too, but we were actually going to go see the pre-parade again. It was hard to make a decision of what we were going to do, but White Rabbit is here. He alternates out with Mickey and Minnie as he has for many years here.
And the line is always very long. You can see there's a ton of people here, so we never have enough time to meet the White Rabbit and Mickey and Minnie. I would say Mickey and Minnie here in the outfits you're about to see are the most popular characters of all of the Easter characters. I love Mickey and Minnie have never been in better form. Mickey wants to take a swim. He was almost dragging Minnie off to the pool, and here they are leaving their guides to go and play with these hula hoops.
Now, Mickey's in a different costume than he has been here in the past number of years. I think that this is called like a riverboat costume, and it has stripes on it, no hat, and no tie. So he's actually, even though the color of the outfit is similar, it's totally otherwise different.
Yeah, completely different. Minnie's outfit is the same. That we've seen in recent years, but I think they look great together. I'm glad that they break it up a little bit, and here they are coming to do their meet and greet with all the adoring fans.
So Disney's Grand Floridian, again, this is one of the most popular of the meet and greets. Like when I post Mickey and Minnie from here, they're always the most popular, but you can find Mickey and Minnie elsewhere also during the day.
And that's so nice. Look at that. They start off their meet and greet with a nice kiss. So they're still madly in love after all these years.
That's a lot of years.
That is a lot of years. I think you're going to see them do another little kiss. Look at that. So romantic on Easter Sunday.
One of the guests was having them do all kinds of poses, so you were able to get a little extra video that way.
And here is our meet and greet. There is Minnie and there's Mickey in the background. And I had asked them about the Easter eggs because when they came in, when they originally came in, they were holding the Easter eggs back there and exchanging the eggs. So I thought that was a nice little touch.
It's always fun to see them here. This is really the one meet and greet. If we were only doing one on Easter Sunday, this is the one that we always go to. Like 4 years ago or 5 years ago, I ended up breaking my ankle.
I was just going to bring that up. Even with the broken ankle, with a wheelchair, that was the one. We only did the one that year, but we still made it.
2 days after I broke my ankle, we were like rolling around there. And here are Chippendale. We only saw them for a few seconds because we ended up leaving. But they were in sort of a beach club type costumes.
Right. And here is Mrs. Easter Bunny, and it's nice to see her with the lush background of the Disney's Polynesian Village Resort.
Even though, I mean, you can meet her with Mr. Bunny during Mr. Easter Bunny during the couple weeks leading up to Easter.
So during all this time, we had heard that Donald and Daisy would be appearing over at Disney's Port Orleans Riverside. We have never done this meet before, and I'm so glad we did. Look at how great Donald looks in his top hat and his tux there. It looks great.
And it looked like it was going to rain, but we didn't go to the Magic Kingdom in part because of that. So by the time we got here, it was all sunny, and we see Donald here, and I like the purple accents. I'm such a big fan of purple.
And they had this way off in a courtyard, so it wasn't too crowded. It was a very beautiful and relaxing setting. It was so relaxing that everybody ended up meeting Donald. There was nobody left who wanted, they were all waiting to meet Daisy. So I felt bad for poor Donald there, a big line and not one person. But I think finally they had somebody came and ran up, a little girl ran up and saw him. So it was very cute.
Right. But we were waiting just to meet Daisy, and Daisy is actually going to be in a similar costume to what we see her always. I don't know if maybe
it's the sparkle.
A little sparkly.
That is the Easter bonus, the sparkly sparkles on her outfit.
Is that what it is?
That's yes.
I don't know. I like characters, but there are other things that I like just as much as characters, including we're going to talk about gondolas.
Yes, we will be talking about gondolas.
And brunch.
And food. I know
brunch.
You like food, and we'll be talking about the Maria and Enzo's lunch. So that is another reason I was able to talk you into all this extra character bonus.
Right, because I knew food was coming. So anyway, there is Daisy, and we're still going. We're now
Pop
at
Century.
Disney's Pop Century Resort. We're seeing Tourist Goofy, but we're going to see gondola construction in a minute.
We will be seeing that very soon. But I have not seen Goofy in this tourist attire before. And this was way off in a little back room off to the side of the lobby. I was very happy, though, it was in the air-conditioned comfort because it was starting to get a little hot at this point.
And you were showing his shoes there. And Goofy swaps out here with Minnie, and we'll see Minnie as well in a minute.
Right, and Minnie has a dress that we've never seen, which we're told is very similar to what she wears at Alani.
Right. Well, I looked up while we were in line, somebody mentioned that, and I looked it up, and it's similar to Alani, but it isn't the Alani dress, but it is very tropical looking.
And you can see a very long line. This is the middle of the day, but still a very long line of guests waiting to meet Minnie here, and the same with Goofy before.
Right. I think especially Minnie. Minnie had so many different costumes. She was able to travel to so many different resorts and get
She gets
changed.
around, that Minnie. Fast mover, I'll tell
Yes,
you.
and she changed into a lot of different costumes, and we didn't even, I was going to say we didn't see them all, but wasn't it Daisy who was in the purple dress over at Port Orleans French Quarter later?
That is correct.
So Daisy actually had several outfits herself.
So since we are at the Pop Century anyway, we decided to go and check out the construction of the Disney Skyliner.
And actually, while we were going around, we saw some things like the Skyliner, like other displays, things that we wouldn't have seen if we weren't going to go find characters. So that was one of my favorite things about this. The Disney Skyliner, I believe it's supposed to open next year. And of course, it looks like, it's like a skyway. It's a gondola system. And this is just one of the stops. Disney's Art of Animation and Disney's Pop Century will be one location. And then you'll have the Caribbean Beach. You'll have the upcoming Riviera Resort, and then Disney's Hollywood Studios and Epcot at the International Gateway.
Right, and we've already looked at the International Gateway artwork, and I think we've seen the Hollywood Studios artwork, so it was nice to get out there to one of the resorts, and you can see right in the middle of the bridge is where this new Skyway station will be, right where water once was.
Right, this is the first time that we have been out here since they really started constructing, and I have not seen any of the towers until now, and now I've seen 4 of them, and you can see right here in the distance 3 towers that will be part of the gondola system for the Disney Skyliner.
Right, that's where the wires will be, and the gondolas will go over, just like a normal skyway. So I think it'll be a very beautiful view, especially going over the lagoon.
Right, and well, not only over here, but as you're going to Disney's Hollywood Studios, you'll see the Tower of Terror in a new way. You'll see World Showcase in a new way. And here, as you're approaching the station, you'll see Disney's Art of Animation Resort in a new way.
And Pop Century.
Yeah, that's something that I'm really actually looking forward to.
And speaking of looking forward to things, this is something that we were looking forward to all day.
When Maria and Enzo said they were going to have an Easter brunch, I booked immediately. I was like, I really want to do this. It was $35 for adults. It ended up being, I think if you had kids with you, 10 and under, it was $15, and 3 and under was no money, but we are 2 adults. So
I thought it was a typo at first. It was such a good deal.
That's what I thought, because I figured for, this type of brunch, maybe $50, $60, but for $35, to me, it's a bargain. It's less than, like, let's say you go to Ohana.
Right.
So it was a really nice way to sample some of Maria and Enzo's food at a very reasonable price.
And in a very beautiful setting as well.
So this is actually the first brunch that they're doing. This is going to be a weekly thing, is what we've been told. Mm-hmm. You can see it says here, buongiorno. Is that how you say buongiorno?
Yes, that's very good. Very good.
And right now it shows the same price and similar items. The pastries here were excellent. You've got prosciutto, you've got cheeses.
Nice selection of cheeses, by the way. And this up here was very, very good.
That's the panettone French toast, which actually was one of my personal favorite items. It was really good. And then there's pastas and salads and braised meatballs right here.
Oh, look at those meatballs. They're simmering.
In polenta. And then there's just so many. I didn't even get to the chicken. There's
oh, you didn't? The chicken was very good.
I didn't have mashed potatoes. There's sausage here. There's omelets. I didn't have most of what's on here because, Italian food is heavier, and there's certain things like the French toast and like one of the pastas that I really wanted. And I missed the potatoes. I had a 1-inch square of your beef, and I really want to have more. I just got so full. The food here is really good. And when we had first walked in, I was like, it didn't look like that many food items, but it actually was a lot of food items.
And one of the buffet lines had this giant container of jumbo shrimp. I know that's an oxymoron, but oh boy, these were fantastic quality shrimp. And here is my first. They give you tasting portions. If you ask for a tasting portion, they will give that to you. So I was able to try a couple salads and one of the little meatballs, and I wanted to save room for these yummy shrimp. And oh boy, so good. These are the only things I've had. I did try multiple times. I wanted to try a variety of items.
Right, and I did too, but somehow I never got to a lot of things. But the Caesar salad's very good. everything that we tried. There is the panettone French toast that I mentioned that I really,
What
really
happened to
enjoyed.
the fruit that goes on there?
I didn't want the fruit. I just wanted the French toast this time. And I don't even know what that is up till the right, but it has chocolate on it. It was really good. And then I had a little Caesar salad and such.
Now, let's not forget to talk about the bottomless mimosas.
For $15, I had bottomless mimosa. A friend, Caitlin, had come over and she's like, you should get that. And I was like, okay.
You were easily talked into it.
I don't think it's always going to be mimosa. They have like 3 different bottomless drinks for $15 that are listed currently on their brunch menu.
And they were very good about keeping it topped off, I noticed, too. This was my favorite plate of the day. There's that the beef that we mentioned before and some of the chicken that you didn't try. Everything was just fantastic.
Yes, and I also wanted to mention, like, if you've ever been to Via Napoli and had their iced tea, it's one of my favorites. They have the same tea here. It's all the same company. Patina Group does all these Edison complex restaurants as well as Via Napoli.
So let's talk a little bit about the decor in the restaurant.
Well, there's 50-foot high ceilings, and you can see out on Village Lake, which is really cool. And also, like, let's say you're looking at Daytona or the Bahamas. That is the direction that you're looking at.
That is the actual direction, so that's really cool. Now, look at this. A whole table for dessert goodness. And there is a chocolate fountain and all the various things that you can dip in the chocolate. We were just too full to even try to do any of that foolishness.
Well, I don't want to say... I had a cannoli.
No, I'm saying dipping into the chocolate fountain.
I didn't. I
had a
didn't do any
cannoli
of
too. I had a few of these items, but I wasn't dipping things in extra chocolate.
No, I didn't have too much of the desserts. I had a little bit of the chocolate, a chocolate chip item, and then there were so many items here also for guests to try. So this was a terrific brunch. If you have the opportunity to have brunch here at Marie and Enzo's, as long as they keep going every Sunday, I don't know if the price will go up, but the food was excellent.
You will save money by going there because you will not need to eat for the rest of the day.
Or the rest of the week.
Or the rest of, even the next morning I was still full.
It was very excellent. It was even surpassed what I expected. And I mentioned that 50-foot tall Florida ceiling you can see out also.
And I agree with you. It exceeded all my expectations. Tremendous. I cannot wait to try it again if my stomach can handle it. But anyway, after that huge feast, what did we do next? More characters. Here is Goofy at Disney's All-Star Movies Resort.
Right. We ended up actually at all 3 All-Star resorts, and one of them was it this one at 4 p.m. and then the others ended at 4:30.
Yeah, we had gotten slightly wrong information about the times, but it worked out. We were still able to see all of them, and here is Minnie in her polka dot dress.
And this was, we saw Minnie, 4 times or so
She
on
is
this
a
day.
quick change, a lot of wardrobe changes in the day for Minnie.
So this was really fun, and she was very popular here, and she was a very fast poser, and that's the one thing. Like if you wanted like 20 photos of Minnie all in different poses, she could do that very, very fast. I didn't want that
precision. Many. She has precision Minnie. But and we mentioned, of course, that it was Easter, so she was doing her little Easter bunny impression there, and there you are. So that was very nice. And the very last character we met was Pluto, and Pluto, I felt bad. He didn't have much Easter, just a little orange collar for Easter for him.
I think he's okay about that. But this was fun to we almost didn't even head to the All-Stars. And one of my favorite things about when we did go to the All-Star resorts was that they had these Easter displays that we didn't even know they had.
No idea. And these were so creative and awesome. And I think my very favorite element is coming up, and I see it in the background
now. The porgs.
The porgs were great.
But also the Inside Out. There's a lot of Pixar. Of course, there's Star Wars here, but there's a lot of Pixar throughout the 3 resorts as far as the Easter egg displays. And these are cast member Easter displays. They're not like the ones at Disney's Beach Club Resort.
But really just perfect. Even the little eggs, too, down there. And there's the Chewbacca. Just wonderful. I thought they did a great job. And you had mentioned Pixar, and here is some Pixar now.
There was all 3 displays had a lot of Pixar. So I thought that was very interesting with how much Pixar is coming to the resorts, all the parks this year.
So creative. I love that with Andy's toys, all the different Toy Story eggs in there. Just very well done. Very, very well done.
And there's Up and Wreck-It Ralph. If we had not come to check out the characters, we wouldn't have even seen these. So this was really an element that I was happy to be able to view.
I thought this Wreck-It Ralph was especially nice because you had the real candies, the real chocolates mixed in, and they just did a great job with all of this stuff. I was very impressed.
And I just want to mention also, the All-Star, all 3 of the food courts had brunch. They had Easter brunch as
Yes,
well.
who knew?
At the food court, it was like $23 per each of them. So I just thought that was very interesting. I didn't know that.
I think at Port Orleans they even had a
Maybe
brunch.
everybody had brunch. Maybe everybody had brunch that I didn't know about. But Marie and Enzo's, I was very glad that we went there.
Actually, now that you mention it, the Grand Floridian had a Sunday brunch too.
Well, I would expect that at the Grand Floridian. I don't always expect that, let's say, at All-Star Food Court. I would
Right.
never expect that at All-Star Food Court. So I thought it was very cool that they had that.
We will have to look into that further, but I think that's, as you said, very interesting. Now we're going to move to one of our favorite places, as everybody who watches this show knows. It's Epcot.
Epcot, we were there. Okay, we're there a lot, but we were there for a media event on this day, and we did, as part of the media event, the Behind the Scenes tour. It has been 4 years since I have written this up that we last did it.
Right.
Before that, it has been 2007 before I had done it, and it's nice to every so often get to do this. And this is a sensitive plant.
Oh, this starts off with your very favorite part of all. As you said, the sensitive plant. When you touch the plant, it kind of closes up, almost like a little Venus flytrap.
This is a plant that I grew up with in New Jersey. It's not even native to New Jersey, but for some reason we had it in our yard, and I used to go out there and I used to like play with it all the time. I just loved it. And you touch it and it closes, and then eventually it will reopen. And she had shaken
it. That's
yeah.
why it looked totally dead. So it's very cool. It's one of my favorite parts, and that was at the very beginning of our tour.
Now the tour itself, we're here trying a cucumber. The tour itself has not changed that much through the years. It changes probably, I would say, more seasonally than yearly, in that the different plants, and sometimes you'll have decor in the like for Christmas or for Halloween.
Right.
And also the different Disney elements that are shown throughout the greenhouses. Now, I think there's 4 greenhouses. One of the differences was no alligators this time. There used to be the alligators, and that changed a year or two back.
Right, and we're going to see that in just a moment. And I know they, as you said, they do change out the different displays, and there used to be like the brine shrimp here and the eels and things. So, it's just always evolving.
Right, and so I just want to mention adults are $25 and children are $20. I guess that's been the price for about 4 years or so now.
And they do take an annual pass holder discount, probably a DVC. There's probably a
and
variety
Disney
of discounts.
Visa discount, and it runs 9 times per day. I really enjoy this tour. I don't know why we don't, even do it more often. I enjoy just getting to touch a sensitive plant, although probably somewhere I could buy one and I could just have my own like in the house.
Well, this is one part that I don't remember from 4 years ago where you can feed the fish.
We have never fed the fish before, so that was actually, fun. I haven't fed fish in a long time. So that was, our group did that.
Yeah, that was a nice, very nice. And of course, they had the little food component there with a cucumber.
Right. And also the Mickey cucumbers, they were showing how some of the restaurants have the Mickey, which I never seem to get those.
I have never got one either.
The Mickey shaped cucumbers. Right. And here are some bananas. And that's something I actually have had in a yard before living in Florida. And this is different. I have never seen that particular Mickey plant with 300 orchids. I think it's just special to the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival. And I mentioned this whole seasonal aspect to the land and to the tour.
And here are some various spices and things that you're able to smell and sort of learn about.
You know what? I didn't even smell them that much because I was busy taking
pictures
pictures of the orchid plant. And I really like just getting kind of a different view, a different angle of what is going on in the greenhouses, including the boat ride.
I think it's a great deal, and I would highly recommend it. I would do it again.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe in the next year or two we'll go ahead and do that again. And also we went to the VIP lounge in Norway. Part of the media event was there, and we talked to horticulture manager Eric Darden about really what we asked him about were the princess faces that have evolved through the last number of years, including we can see here Elsa and Anna. When they came, they actually had the new faces. So one of the things that our followers really like are the next generation faces. And I remember the first one was about 4 years ago, Snow White, and nobody mentioned that it was coming, and I was like, Snow White has a face. So can you just tell us a little bit about the process on that?
Well, yeah, the reason you didn't know about Snow White because we didn't know if it was going to work. it took a long time to do, because basically you're combining two medias. You're combining the sculpture of the topiary and then a real sculpt, because that's what the face is. It's a sculpt that's made to look organic. So it was probably only a month or two before festival started that we actually put it on all together and said, hey, this is going to work. But you have to go months and months in advance, and you hire a sculptor. And they actually have to take measurements and make sure that the head is the perfect size. And realize it's not just the head; it's any body part. So hands, feet, arms, legs. Look at Anna and Elsa; their entire arm is sculpted. So it's having a very talented sculptor. Fortunately, it's the same sculptor who helps do the topiary frames. So it's not like you have one sculptor doing the frames and one the body parts. But it's still two medias, and I couldn't do it because I'm not an artist, and most artists I don't think could do it. It was challenging. We know we can do it now, but it doesn't get any easier. It's hard every time. Belle was a little easier than Snow White because we did a whole new frame. With Snow White, because it was so new, that's actually the old frame that we've always used. It does make it easier when you build the frame and the sculpt all together from the sizing standpoint. That's also how we did Anna and Elsa. So as far whether or not we'll do more of them, I don't know. There's still other characters out there, but whether we do those, I can't answer that question.
Thank you very much.
I always love talking to Eric. There has been so many times over the years where we'll run into him and like an hour will go by and we're just chatting about the festivals because we're such huge fans of it. And I think he appreciates that too. He loves to tell us all about his festivals.
And France.
And France too. We always talk about France.
We always seem to be going to France. So it's always fun to talk to him about that as well.
So anyway, thanks again to Disney and to Eric for inviting us to the event and for talking all about the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival.
Another media event we went to was for Margaritaville Resort Orlando, which is coming. It's going to start coming here later this year, which is crazy.
This place is going to be huge.
I know, my mind was blown. There's so much going on here. It's on 192, right off of 192, not far from Sherbeth and Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Right next to Target.
Right next to Target.
You can see the Animal Kingdom Lodge from the construction area.
Right. I mean, it's very close to Disney. It's going to have at least 1,000 cottages and also a hotel with almost 200 rooms. It's going to have dining and retail and
Rock and Brews.
Yes,
It'll
Rock
be
and
a
Brews.
Rock and Brews so close to us, which will be very nice. Hopefully, Gene and Paul will come back and we can talk to them again.
Well, that would be like the third time we've interviewed them. So we were able to, along with others, get a kind of a look. This is the retail area. They couldn't tell us I guess it's about 70% tenant occupied. And this may open as early as later this year. There is a lot of construction going on. So it was hard to believe that, so soon they're going to start opening portions of it, and then next year like the water park.
Right. Well, of course the retail will be first, and I'm very excited about that. But then the hotel, the big giant hotel that you're seeing here.
Well, I think the retail and the hotel, all of that's supposed to open sort of in the same time frame. And some of the cottages, they said this summer for some of the cottages, which I can't, it's hard to believe because of how much still has to be done. But I mean, they're really building this very fast. It's on like 300 acres. The dining, they're going to have a Rascal Flatts restaurant also. So much coming. No Margaritaville Orlando restaurant, though, I guess, because it's over at Universal.
And you're just seeing the outline of the hotel lobby. And here is sort of the beach. There's a man-made beach back there, so that'll be very nice when it's done. And
there'll be a 12-acre water park. The lobby is going to have, we were told 3 restaurants. There's going to be a JWB steakhouse along with a buffet and then kind of, I guess, a counter location.
No problem with food.
No, there's not going to be. And there'll be other food, too, at the Sunset Walk retail and dining location we mentioned. And these are 4 cottages that we took a look inside. They're different. There's between 1 and 4 bedrooms that we looked at, but the bedrooms go up to 8.
Right.
And I believe with about 16 guests that the one with the 8 can fit into, and there'll be about 30 of those.
Very impressed with the inside.
The insides are beautiful. It's Ethan Allen Furniture. I asked and was told that the hotel will have a similar feel to it with similar furniture inside.
It definitely has a very Margaritaville motif to the whole thing.
And there's actually like 4 different packages of furniture. You can be like, okay, well, I want the License to Chill package, and then that is what you'll get for the cottage. And I mean, we're still learning about it. If you look online, you can learn little bits about it, but there's so much more information still to come, and it's very exciting.
Hot tub.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be, I mentioned like 1,000 of these cottages. I can't even wrap my mind around 1,000 cottages right now, and the size of Margaritaville Resort. But they're so popular in other locations, so I'm really looking forward to seeing when they're finished, and it's not that far away.
No, I mean, you will be surprised how quick these construction projects can go. He was talking about how everything is going to be done in a matter of months.
Well,
some of it.
Some of
the
it
first
will be
phase,
done.
First phase.
Right, but by next year, it sounds like almost everything will be finished. And here we can see this, I believe, was the 4-bedroom. That's like one of the smaller bedrooms. And when I mentioned the hotel, I mean, obviously you're not going to have 2,000 square feet or 1,000 square feet in a hotel room, but the furniture is supposed to be the Ethan Allen, and just again a similar vibe to what you're finding here. And I just thought the cottages were beautifully laid out. If I was going to buy one, which you can buy them,
Can you?
Yeah, you can buy them. They're like, you can rent them out. I'm assuming you could live there. We're still learning.
Yes, yes. This was my favorite, by the way.
Was this your favorite?
Yes.
I think the 3-bedroom was my favorite, the way it was laid out. But they start at like $250,000, $260,000, plus the homeowners association fees. And also, some of these are rented out for timeshares. It's again hard for me to, because there's so many of them, and there's so many ways to do vacation here at Margaritaville. It's going to be, I don't even understand every single way.
I like all these little touches, and here is my favorite touch of all, is the concoction machine.
That's like if you wanted to make a margarita, and I guess for some reason I didn't even notice them.
I noticed that instantly.
So I knew they were supposed to all have them, but somehow didn't notice it.
So anyway, we will keep our eye on this. There's a lot of excitement to come. It's going to be massive, I'll tell you that.
Right. As soon as we get more information, hopefully we'll be invited back soon, for the updates and stuff. I'm very excited that it's like this big project that's coming to fruition in not very long. And, we weren't there from the beginning to get all the, to kind of see it from the groundbreaking.
It's close enough.
It's pretty close, yeah. But pretty soon we're going to see this really big project with so many different elements to it, a new shopping and dining location. I'm really, I just can't wait.
And believe it or not, that's another show.
That's another show.
We want to thank our sponsor, MEI Travel and Mousefan Travel.
Check them out for everything that's happening at the parks and around the world. Again, we have Pixar Fest coming like next week to Disneyland. We have Incredible Summer. We have Toy Story Land coming June 30th.
Marvel Summer at Disneyland Paris.
Marvel Summer at Disneyland
Fan
Paris.
Days, yes, all kinds of things.
But also, I mean, Disney Tokyo Japan there, Tokyo Disneyland, will have their 35th, which is starting also like next week. So much is going on.
What a great time to be a Disney fan.
Yes, and also Marvel Days at Seas. I'm sure there's still Star Wars Day at Sea. It's hard to keep up with everything. It's hard enough to keep up with everything that's going on here in Orlando and at Walt Disney World. But anyway, thank you for following along. I'm sure you know what we're talking about next week. I have no idea.
How quickly you forget the Pirate and Princesses event at Disneyland Paris.
I did forget that. We just posted all
it's
about that.
It's a major thing. Team Pirate, Team Princess.
And we're going to see that next month.
Yes,
ourselves.
In person. But thanks to our good friend Curious Axel, we will have full coverage on our next show.
Plus, Polite Pig, we're heading over there today, and I think we'll probably take a little walk around Disney Springs and see what's going on.
Yeah, we talked about maybe going to Epcot or the Magic Kingdom. I'm sure we'll go to some park this week, and whatever we do, we'll be talking about that next week.
I want to go to Epcot, definitely, and if anything
Boy,
else is
shock.
A bonus, yes.
Well, anyway, thanks again for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.